Welcome to my show, simply entitled Women Influencers, where you will find inspirational stories of successful women in business. I am Veronica Malolos, CCIM, founder and CEO of the Cap Strata Group of Companies, providing commercial real estate development, brokerage, and property management services in the greater Orlando area. Today's guest is Nemesie Esteves, CCIM. From a construction family background to pursuing her master's in real estate, to exploring a career in Thailand, to now co-founder of Bison Construction, this young lady's story will amaze you. Please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe below. I welcome your comments and please share with someone who can benefit from this podcast.
Hi, Nemesie. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you doing, Veronica?
Oh, I'm great. It's a good time to be in Florida, that's for sure. But thank you for being here and tell us about how you grew up in your environment and how you got to where you are today.
Perfect. Thank you, Veronica, for having me. It's really an honor. Um, I'm glad to be having a conversation on the podcast. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share my story. So my name is Nemesie. I was born in Puerto Rico, and I came probably like around 5 years old here to Orlando, Florida. And I came with my mom and an older brother. And I always find it like crazy to me that, you know, my mom took this giant chance to leave a space where she didn't know the language, she didn't have connections, and we kind of just jumped right in with this desire and this hope for opportunity. So I've kind of always had that in my mind since I arrived here to the U.S. Um, Growing up here, I've had plenty of opportunities. I was lucky enough. My mom met my stepfather when I was younger, and he created a business. He had a construction company, and we would help him. Myself and my brother, we would help him on his construction projects, and we'd help him renovate homes or flip properties for investors. And I remember my mom would help out. She would make it like the little logos for the company, and we'd go out. I had a younger brother as well. And all five of us would go out and we'd door knock and introduce ourselves to the neighbors and say, hey, if you need anything, let us know. And I'd help him out on his construction projects. I remember this one project, we were painting a house and he was in a white painter suit and he has a mask on as well. And then all you see is this little cutout of his face. And he would be dancing to salsa music and painting. And it was always just a joyous experience helping out. I'd help out and paint some baseboards or do whatever I could to help out. And so that kind of was always in my head that we could transform spaces and we can help people in whatever they needed, whether it was a bathroom or kitchen or whatever it is that they needed. So I really enjoyed that. I always knew that I wanted to help people. I thought that I would go to college and pursue like some type of be in the medical field. It didn't work out that way, but I did attend FIU and I studied to get my health service administration degree. And in my last semester, I decided that I was going to take an internship, and it really was that field was not for me. And so I was going to finish, and I committed to finishing that degree. During that time, I met my now husband. And when we were dating, we had these ideas and we would dream together and we'd be like, oh, it'd be so cool if we went and we traveled the world. If we could travel the world. And one day we just sat together after watching one too many documentaries, and we're like, I think we can do it. I think we can travel. What would we have to do? And so we made a list of the things that we had to do, and we bought a one-way ticket to Spain. And so what we did was we saved all of our money that we could. I was paying for college at that time, so I was about to end my semester. I was about to graduate, so I said, okay, so I'll keep saving as if I was still going to school. We sold all of our belongings, and then my father introduced us to some of his investors in South Florida, and so we remodeled a couple of their properties. So I'd finish going to school, I'd go to work, my husband would go to work, and then after our day jobs, we'd go on at nights and on the weekends, and we worked on renovating these homes. So we rip out carpets, we paint the cabinets, just very simple, but we would still make it really transform the space I've always say like it's kind of crazy what you can do when you have vision and a lot of
Yeah.
sweat and time. You can really transform spaces.
Well,
Um,
and you were quite aligned in what you wanted to do, which is
mhm.
awesome. Does he also come from a construction background, or is it?
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
he came from a construction background as well. At that time, he had just come down from Kentucky renovating apartments for
Mhm.
the company that he worked with. And he was currently working in granite fabrication and installation.
Mhm.
So we kind of had a lot of background in the industry, and we just got after it. And we did. We saved up the money, we sold all of our items, and to kick off the trip, we traveled around the US for 3 months.
Wow.
Um, I had a little Toyota Matrix, so we loaded it up with all of our camping gear and anything that we might have, and we visited. I mean, if you lived outside of Florida, you were getting a visit from us. We were gonna knock on your door, be like, "Hey, can we crash on your couch?" While we
Oh, that's
toured the city.
awesome.
So we got hosted at a lot of different places. We went to Georgia, the Carolinas, New York, DC, Toronto. We explored all the national parks.
Wait, so this was all road trips?
It
Like
was a
you took
road
your
trip,
car?
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah. Yeah, we
awesome.
drive
Ah,
we drive a few hours,
to
stop.
be so
Mhm.
young and adventurous. I love that.
Yeah, we survived off of ramen noodles for a while, and it was just a really great time. I've loved the national parks that we have here, and they're so varied from Olympic National Park in Washington, in Utah, Zion. It was just like a really beautiful experience, and we had never gone hiking or anything like that, so we just got exposed to so many different elements here in our own backyard in the US.
Oh wow. And you came back to Florida before you flew to Spain? Tell us about that.
Mhm. Yeah, and so we kind of did a whole little loop, and then from Florida we flew to Spain, and we spent a few months in Spain. We did a trail. It's called the Camino de Santiago. It's kind
Mhm.
of like a pilgrimage where you backpack in different what they call albergues. There's like
Mhm.
hostels, and that was a beautiful experience as well. I mean, there's not many opportunities where you separate time out of your normal life to wake up and walk and meet people, and you know that you're pretty safe. You have a place to stay. You have to walk a certain amount of time, and along the path there are restaurants and coffee shops, so you don't have to worry too much about food, and they're really
Mhm.
great pricing because it's in Spain.
Yeah.
So we ate really great.
I love Spain. Madrid is probably one of our favorite cities in Europe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the food
Wow,
is
that's
great, the people were kind, and I'm meeting a lot of people as well, because you bump into people and you share your story as well. You're walking on a trail every day and you're like, "Hey, I've seen you before," and then you just spark up a conversation with them.
did
I
you ever connect with some investors that your dad had introduced you? I know you did some work in South Florida, but in Spain, did you do any kind of work?
Not in Spain, but we traveled a few more places surrounding Spain, like Morocco and Istanbul. We went to Paris. We ended up actually working in Thailand. So at some
Yeah.
point throughout our trip, we were running low on funds, and so we needed to get creative to see how much longer we could stay out traveling. So there is this website called Woofing, and it's WOOF, and it's kind of like an exchange program where you can work. Usually what you do is you work on somebody's farm, and you kind of like work in exchange for a stay, and they give you meals. But I was way too creative for that. So I looked for some other options, and I ended up finding this lovely couple from Monaco, and in Thailand they lived on this island called Koh Phangan, and we stayed with them for like 3 months. And what we did for them was they were building an ecological hotel. And so they needed help to manage their employees that were working there while they had to travel out and abroad. So I had some background working in hospitality, and we had the experience of working in construction. And it was kind of like a perfect deal. We were living on a beautiful island. It was on
Wow.
the beach. They took care of our meals and our transportation, our internet, and we had a really great time there. Um, and we grew a lot. You learn a lot about yourself when you spend time away from your family
For
or
sure.
in a new environment. And obviously we
Yeah.
didn't speak the language well. So we got to know each other better. We got to learn about ourselves. Um, and some people say, hey, why didn't you stay there longer? Or why didn't, like, sounds great. But at a certain point, we just wanted to, we knew that it was kind of like a vacation. It was like a bubble and it wasn't going to last. And so we wanted to come back home to build our future and what we would know as our little legacy. So at a certain point, we decided, okay, so it's time to go home now. And so we came back to the US and to kind of come back to Florida, we came back to Orlando and we needed to start working. And we knew that we were going to create our business and it was going to be we were inspired from our travels. Bison, when we were out in Wyoming, we were like, one day we were driving and gigantic herd of bison
Wow.
just crossed right in front of us, and we were
Ah,
stuck in traffic for like 2 hours, but it was
wow.
just an amazing scene. The sun is setting behind the mountains and we're like, oh, when we open up our construction company, we're going to call it Bison. And so we
I
returned
love it.
to
Oh,
Orlando. We're going to be Bison Construction for sure. So we opened up the company.
yeah, so you opened up your company when, like, shortly after you returned, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
was it at that point that you decided you were going to pursue a master's in real estate?
Yeah, that happened a few years later. When we came and we opened up our construction company, we kind of just blasted out to everybody that we knew. Hey, if you have anything, please let us know. And we started getting recommendations. And one job led to another referral, led to another referral, led to another one. And eventually, we ended up working with a developer.
Mhm.
And this developer was here in Central Florida, and he ran a commercial real estate company. He would develop properties. He had a commercial property management company. He leased, and we started doing a renovation at his home. And he had the opportunity, and he's like, "I really like your story. I like, yeah, the way that you guys work. I have an opportunity. I need some help. Would you like to be part of it?" And at that time, I had started studying. I had gotten my real estate license, and I had done 1 year of residential real estate. And I was like, this is not as fun. um, this is just like another beast. My inspiration for working in real estate was we were getting a lot of referrals from investors, and I thought, oh, I'll just get my license and people will call me and life will be easy and we'll keep referring work to our construction company. But it didn't work out that way. And so when the developer was like, hey, do you want to give commercial real estate a shot? I was like, I don't know what that is, but I'm more than happy. I said yes. It's amazing how life will open doors for you if you just keep saying
Yeah,
yes.
that's
Um,
right.
and so I just said yes, and my husband continued working with this developer on projects, and I worked in the office with his wife and him, and I would pick up the phone and just kind of like vet people out for them, and they had so many calls, so many leads coming in that they weren't able to show all the properties. So I was like, okay, what do you need from me? How can I help you? And they would give me some pointers. Okay, ask this, this, and this, and then watch out for this and qualify this. And I'm like, okay. And I would take diligent notes and I would apply it. And then they just kept teaching me little by little. They taught me. And I really enjoyed what I was doing. I enjoyed helping. I think the thing that I enjoyed the most is you work with dreamers, and I'm a dreamer. And if you're working with a business person, we're all a little delusional in the sense that we believe that we can take what dirt and have people, and fix cars. Take this space and I'm going to fix your car. I'm going to provide this service, or I have this idea that I'm going to create this office space and people are going to come to me and I'm going to solve their problems. And it's like very much the American dream. And I enjoyed being part of that process and creating the deal points and helping people out. But
No,
I knew that I needed more education. That's where I was like, okay, I need more because there's so many layers. There's so many
yeah.
levels to the game. And when you're working in commercial real estate, there are days where the deals fall in your lap and you're like, I don't know how I did this, but it's amazing. And
Well, that's a great segue to my next question,
mhm,
really. And it's about challenges, right?
mhm,
And I know that as you were building your career and your business that you probably had some challenges that you overcame. So if there was one challenge that comes to mind that you overcame, what would that be?
Um, one challenge. I To be honest, a challenge that I had is walking into job sites or walking onto property and not being taken seriously. I have curly hair, I have this bubbly personality, I smile a lot, I make jokes, and I had a baby face, and I just felt like
Well, you
maybe
still do. You still have a baby face.
thank you so much. Yeah, I just felt like, I just felt a little insecure, and when I was working deals, I knew that there were certain times when I took the call very, very seriously. And it's when they had a couple of letters behind their name. And it could be CCIM or an MSRE, a master's in real estate. And I knew that I was very likely to close those deals because the people qualified their clients. So I knew that I wanted to not be fighting for dominance. I wanted to just perform. And so how I did that was getting my CCIM designation, going out and getting my master's degree, getting a general contractor's license, getting designations and certifications that spoke before I entered the room.
Wow, that's really quite something. I mean, you're the kind of person that certainly could serve as a mentor or as an inspiration to someone, which leads me to my next question about influence. And if there was one outcome that you're most proud of that you had an impact on, what would that be?
I've been honored now. I've worked in different positions now in my career, and I've now had the opportunity to hire uh, additional, just the next generation. And it's really inspiring to be able to see, a brand new person walk into your space, be an admin, and be overwhelmed by how much there is to learn. And then you being able to tell them, like, hey, don't worry, you take it one day at a time, you got this. And, just continue to learn and apply what you learn. And so now I see individuals that I've hired or that I've mentored, and they work in the real estate, industry and are killing it. So that's very inspirational for me.
Oh yeah, definitely. You should be proud of that because keeping what we learn to ourselves is really not as gratifying as if you give it away, right? So
Hmm.
that's amazing. I wanted to ask you if there was one piece of advice that you could give to our audience today, what would that be?
I'd say don't wait for permission. You're not going to be perfect at the get go, and that's okay. It's kind of about the journey and about the story. And the more ups and downs that you have, you turn around, you look, and you have a really good story to tell. So just keep at it, keep tweaking, keep learning, keep growing, and know that it's not going to be perfect at the get go. But if you just improve incrementally, you're going to get there.
Yeah, I love it, especially when you said earlier on that you said yes to a lot of stuff, and that's really how you progressed in your business and your career. Thank you. That's really inspirational. So I think we've come to the part of our interview where you get to ask me a question. So go ahead, Nemi.
Veronica, I see you and I'm so inspired by you. I love
Oh,
how easy you are to talk to and approachable, and you really do help a lot of people. I see you every day, helping whoever you can, connecting people. I wanted to know what's one moment in your journey that challenged your belief about what you're capable of, and how did you come on the other side?
yeah. So earlier in my career, and thank you for that question. I mean, I really had to pause for a few moments to reflect on that because just like you, I say yes to a lot of opportunity because if I don't put myself there, then I don't really discover what I'm capable of. So there was one point where I was a residential broker for about a decade before I kind of fell into this opportunity for commercial real estate, and it was a big opportunity. I mean, it was like not something that somebody would say no to. But I'm
Mm.
self-aware enough to know that I don't know anything.
Mhm, mhm,
But I wanted to say yes. And so what
mhm,
I did was I did reach out to a mentor, and I've told this story several times, but but there's a very big commercial broker. When I say big, he's retired now, and he's a big name. And actually, he's a CCIM, used to be a chapter president, Ben Crosby. And I asked him, Ben, would you help me go for this RFQ for a fairly big project? And he was kind enough to say yes. And many years later, I now became a full-fledged commercial real estate broker, CCIM, in leadership roles. And when you really think about, there were two choices then, right? To say no,
Mhm.
or to just step in and kind of push through and see what you're capable of. And if I
Mhm.
had not done that and reached, again, the most important thing there was that I asked to be mentored. And
Mhm.
so I came out of that on the other end now in a totally different journey, and I'm just so grateful for that opportunity. So I absolutely love that question, Nemesie. I really want to thank you for being here with us today. And before we go, I wanted to know if somebody from our audience wanted to connect with you or with Bison Construction, how can they do that?
Yeah, they can probably our website or Instagram. Our website is bisonconstruction.com or at Bison Construction on Instagram. Those would be the two places.
Great. And what about if somebody wanted to connect with you personally, maybe for, I don't know, mentorship or whatever? Would that be through LinkedIn?
Yeah, LinkedIn will work. Nemesie Esteves.
Great, great. Well, I want to thank you again, Demi. This was really fantastic. I love, love, love your story. You're such a vibrant and inspirational young woman. And I really look forward to seeing you kind of, just soar. You still have so many years ahead of you, you and your husband. So I wish you the very best. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you, Veronica. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye bye.